They built him up, they used him, and then they threw him away like he was nothing. And the worst part? We all saw it coming. Every single one of us. But nobody expected it to go down like this. Welcome back to Russellscope. I'm your host, and today we are diving deep into one of the most emotionally charged, politically loaded, and downright disrespectful moments in recent WWE history. The moment Finn Bálor walked away from the Judgment Day. Or better yet, was forced out of the Judgment Day. Before we get into it, I need you to do something right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, did Finn Bálor deserve better? Because by the end of this video, I promise you, your blood is going to be boiling. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe button, because Russellscope is the only place that gives you the real story, not the sanitized version. Let's go. Let me take you back. Let me remind you of something that WWE seems to want you to forget. Finn Bálor was not just a member of the Judgment Day. Finn Bálor was the reason the Judgment Day existed in the form that made it dangerous, compelling, and appointment television. When Edge originally formed the group and then turned on them, it was Finn who stepped up. It was Finn who carried the identity of that faction on his back. The Prince, the Demon, one of the most gifted performers in the history of professional wrestling. A man who sold out arenas in Japan, who opened the first ever Monday Night Raw at Madison Square Garden as Universal Champion, who has bled and sacrificed more for this business than most people will ever understand. And yet, when the camera started rolling and the storyline started gaining momentum, what happened to Finn Bálor? He became background noise. Think about that for a second. The founding pillar of the Judgment Day, a Hall of Fame caliber performer, became a supporting character in his own faction, while Damian Priest cashed in Money in the Bank and became World Heavyweight Champion, while Dominic Mysterio turned heel and became one of the most talked about characters on the roster, while Rhea Ripley became arguably the biggest star in all of WWE, male or female. Finn Bálor was left standing in the back, holding a tag title here, losing a feud there, slowly but surely fading into the wallpaper. And I need you to understand something. This wasn't an accident. This was a choice, a deliberate, calculated, creative choice by WWE to sideline the man who lit the match that started the fire. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because if we're being completely honest with ourselves, the signs were there for months. Remember when internal tension started brewing within the Judgment Day, when JD McDonnell entered the picture and started positioning himself closer and closer to the inner circle? When the faction's loyalty started feeling fractured and fragile? Those weren't just storyline teases. Those were breadcrumbs. And whether you want to blame the writers, the bookers, or the politics backstage, the destination was always the same. Finn Bálor was being phased out. What made it sting even more was how they chose to do it. There was no epic betrayal. There was no career-defining promo where Finn stood in the middle of that ring, looked every one of his former brothers and sisters dead in the eye, and told them exactly what they could do with their faction. There was no moment worthy of a man of his stature. The Judgment Day essentially outgrew Finn, or at least that's the narrative WWE wanted us to buy. But here's the real question nobody is asking out loud. Did WWE fumble one of the greatest character opportunities of the last decade? Think about it. Finn Bálor has the Demon, one of the most visually stunning, psychologically terrifying alter egos in the history of sports entertainment. And the Judgment Day, a faction built around darkness, menace, and psychological warfare, never once fully unleashed the Demon in a meaningful faction storyline. Not once. They had a walking nightmare on their roster and chose to book him like a mid-card afterthought. That is not just a missed opportunity. That is creative malpractice. So let's talk about the moment itself, the break, the departure. When Finn Bálor's ties to the Judgment Day were finally severed, and the manner in which it unfolded, there was something heartbreaking and infuriating about it simultaneously, because it wasn't treated with the gravity it deserved. A man who spent years building that faction's credibility was discarded, and the audience was expected to just move on. But here at Russellscope, we don't just move on, we analyze.
Because what Finn's exit from the Judgment Day really represents is a much bigger conversation about how WWE handles its veterans. It's proven, established, main event caliber talent, once the company decides it's done with them in a particular role. They don't always give you a send-off worthy of your contributions. They don't always sit down and craft an exit story that honors the journey. Sometimes they just open a different door and expect you to walk through it quietly. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, the fans deserved better too. The fans who invested in the Judgment Day from the very beginning, the fans who chanted for Finn, who bought the merchandise, who stayed up late watching Raw hoping, praying that this would be the week Finn Bálor finally snapped, finally unleashed the demon, finally got his moment. Those fans were let down just as much as Finn was. Comment below right now, are you one of those fans? Because I know I am, and I know this community is full of them. Now, here's where I'm going to say something that might surprise you, something that might even make you a little angry at first, but stay with me, because by the end of it, you're going to see what I see. What if leaving the Judgment Day is the greatest thing that could have ever happened to Finn Bálor? Bear with me, because here's the truth about great performers. They don't need a faction to be great. They are the faction. Finn Bálor completely unchained, with no political allegiances, no creative limitations, no obligation to put over a group dynamic. Finn Bálor as a pure, singular, unflinching solo force of nature is one of the most dangerous things WWE could unleash right now. Think about what a fully motivated, creatively liberated Finn Bálor looks like. A Finn Bálor with a chip on his shoulder the size of a sledgehammer. A Finn Bálor who has something to prove, who has been disrespected, sidelined, and underestimated, and who is now walking into arenas with nothing to lose and everything to gain. History has shown us time and time again that the most compelling pro wrestling characters are not the ones who have everything. They're the ones who have been stripped of everything. Steve Austin after the Montreal Fallout, CM Punk's pipe bomb era, Daniel Bryan's Yes Movement. The common thread? A man who feels wronged, undervalued, and absolutely electric with purpose. Finn Bálor leaving the Judgment Day, if booked correctly, could be the beginning of the most important chapter of his entire career. The demon doesn't need a throne room. The demon doesn't need allies. The demon needs a target, and right now, Finn Bálor has a whole roster full of them. But here's where I get real with you. Here's where WrestleScope earns its reputation for saying what other channels won't. WWE has a habit, a frustrating, maddening, almost self-destructive habit of creating incredible momentum for a performer and then doing absolutely nothing with it. We've seen it happen, we've watched it unfold in real time, and if WWE does not handle Finn Bálor's post-Judgment Day path with the care, intentionality, and ambition that it deserves, they will have wasted not one, but two generational opportunities with this man. The roadmap is right there. It's not complicated. A scorched earth Finn Bálor, angry, isolated, and embracing every dark inch of his prince persona without the Judgment Day's baggage, runs through mid-card challengers, cuts brutal promos about loyalty and betrayal, and builds toward a WrestleMania moment that the entire WWE universe has been waiting for. Give him a world title program, give him a rivalry that matters, give him a microphone and 30 uninterrupted minutes, and trust that this man knows how to hold an audience in the palm of his hand, because he absolutely does. And if they don't do that, if they book Finn Bálor into another aimless mid-card cycle where he's just filling TV time until the next pay-per-view, then WWE will have officially confirmed what many fans have feared for years, that the company simply does not know what it has with this man. And that is a tragedy that no WrestleMania moment can ever fully fix. Finn Bálor deserved better from the Judgment Day. He deserved better from the booking. He deserved better from a creative team that had the tools and the talent to tell one of the greatest faction stories in modern wrestling history, and chose instead to relegate its founding member to the background. But here's what I believe with every single fiber of my being. Finn Bálor is not finished. Not even close. The man who walked out of NXT and redefined what a WWE superstar could be. The man who returned from a career-threatening injury at SummerSlam to win a championship. The man who can shift an entire arena's energy the moment his music hits. That man has one more massive chapter left to write. And whether WWE gives it to him or whether Finn has to take it, I have a feeling we haven't seen anything yet. The prince is free, and a free prince with nothing to lose is far more dangerous than a king sitting comfortably on a throne. All right, WrestleScope Nation, now is the time to make some noise. I want to know, what do you think Finn Bálor's next move should be? Who is the one superstar on the current WWE roster that a post-Judgment Day Finn should go after first? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I read every single one of them, and I will be replying today, so let's get this conversation going. If this video opened your eyes, if it made you feel something, if it made you even a little bit angry on Finn's behalf, then do me a favor and hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it tells the algorithm that wrestling fans want real analysis, not just highlight reels. And if you are not yet subscribed to WrestleScope, what are you doing? Seriously, we cover every major WWE and AEW storyline with the depth, the passion, and the honesty that this industry deserves. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a single video. We'll see you in the next one. The WrestleScope never stops turning.